Good morning. It's actually a privilege for me to be one of the two non-Turkish speakers this morning, because I really feel at home here. And every time I come to this country, I say, oh God, I've been here 67 times. Will I be here again next time? And it's the sort of thing that you really enjoy. It's like having chocolate. You know that chocolate is sometimes... You hear me? Yes. But you keep eating it. To me, it's a bit like that, coming to Turkey. I'm here this week, I'm here next week again. And it's a pleasure, and it's a privilege to be one of the two only non-Turkish speakers today. Obviously, given what Turgay has mentioned, what I'd like to talk about today is the brand that we are helping build, which is the brand for you, the brand for Turkey. When you talk about nation brands, when you talk about brands for countries, it's very easy to refer to stereotypes. It's very easy to refer to what you've learned since you were little. So you see this picture, and it's pretty obvious that this picture refers to a city, and that this city is Paris. But it's also a fact that prejudice, stereotypes, is only the beginning for ignorance. And we believe that we know everything about nations, but the reality is that we don't. So if I show you this flag, and I show you this flag, you would not know, probably a lot of you know, that this flag belongs to Slovakia and this flag belongs to Slovenia. But the reality is that most of you don't even know, or probably confuse Slovakia with Slovenia. Even the name they share have 50% of the letters between them both. And Slovakia has nothing to do with Slovenia. It is also a fact that countries can have symbols that really epitomize what they stand for. And when you talk about Norway, you know that Norway is a country you sort of associate, even if you've never been to Oslo or you've never been to the fjords, you sort of associate Norway with a peaceful country, Norway with a country that always tries to be trying to help behind the scenes, make peace between these guys and those guys. A country which is very rich because it has a lot of oil, but that they use the oil in a fantastic sovereign fund that helps develop infrastructure and very good things. Norway is associated with purity. When Norway talks about being pure, people say, yes, it works. When Norway talks about peace, people say, yes, it works. It's so interesting that Norway is associated with peace that a lot of people don't notice, but the Nobel Prize is a Swedish award. And there's only one Nobel Prize which is not given in Sweden, but it's given in Norway. Why would the Nobel Committee, why would the Nobel Foundation let a country which is not the country where Alfred Nobel left his will to host and decide who is the award recipient of the Nobel Prize for Peace? It is Norway. So it's really interesting and fascinating that a country that does not really have associations with the Nobel Foundation is actually the country that gives the Nobel Prize for Peace. so close the name of Norway is associated, the brand of Norway is associated with peace, that it is actually the country that awards the Nobel Prize for Peace. I live in Madrid, Spain, and I can assure you that I never bump into people like this on the street. I live in Madrid, and I've worked for the Spanish government as an advisor in branding to help Spain build a brand about technology. When I first was asked to help Spain with the idea of building a brand in technology, I said, these guys, this is the most challenging exercise I will probably have in my professional career. Because to me, and to you, and to most people, Spain is about bulls. Spain is about bulls. Oh, they changed. Spain is about bulls, Spain is about paella, Spain is about wine, Spain is about fiesta. The reality is that Spain is also about the Guggenheim in Bilbao. Spain is also about one of the most successful airports in the developed world, Barajas in Madrid. Spain is about the most successful high-speed train nation that is exporting it everywhere it goes. Spain is actually the nation that has developed the most sustainable technological edge in Western Europe, in the West. And it wasn't easy to come up with an idea when stereotypes are built around paella and bulls and flamenco dancing. But you have to do it. And what you have to do is to overcome these stereotypes, overcome these prejudices that you have. Zara is just another example of an amazing success story that comes from this country. Another country I have been very much familiar with and where Saffron has an office and a number of clients is obviously this one. And I don't have to tell you that this one is India. This picture is a picture taken by me. And it's the picture you would take if you go to Jaipur, because the picture you want to go back home with is this one, or this one, which is also a picture I took. This is what we associate India with. Beautiful colors, people lying on the street, gurus, elephants, maybe tigers, beautiful palaces, the heritage of the Mughals in the north, the beauty of Kerala, the backwaters of Kerala in the south, etc., etc. The reality is, and India has made a lot of noise over the last few years about its successes, is that India became to be known for its outsourced call centers. So at the beginning, we in the West thought, yes, India is about colors and elephants and hot food, but yes, they have call centers. The reality is that these call centers eventually evolved to become the world's most fantastic and amazing BPOs companies, technological companies. Tata is by far one of the respected brands everywhere. Only Tata was from India, was capable of winning over others to get Jaguar as a brand or Land Rover as a brand. Tata Consulting Services is one of the world's largest consultancies, like Wipro, a company in India that talks about consulting, systems integration, and outsourcing, or, of course, Infosys. India is a country you would have never trusted to take a satellite. If you were to choose a country to take your satellite outside of our stratosphere, you would never thought of India as the one. India is probably, it is one of the top 5 countries in the world in doing these things. What I want to say is that it all boils down to perceptions, because as Ludwig Wittgenstein said, and we keep saying this in every presentation we make, in every meeting we have with our clients, perception is reality. And the way I perceive Turkey is the way I shape my reality of Turkey. Turkey is a fascinating country, and I am not the one to tell you this because you live here, you know this. Turkey is a country that has one of the most vibrant cities in the world, ranked number 11. Rankings are to be taken with a pinch of salt, obviously, because depending on how you rank things, you really realize whether it's right or wrong. But in any event, Istanbul ranks amongst the top 10 cities, no matter what ranking system you follow. When we were engaged by Tim to create a brand for Turkey, the reality was that we told them that it was a perfect timing. It was a perfect timing because we had 2023 to get there, because Turkey was, from anywhere you looked at it, a success story. The economy, the way it grew, the role Turkey plays in the region. From whatever point you look at it, Turkey had made it. And Turkey had made it to the point that Goldman Sachs included the T in the BRICS. One thing is having timing, and another thing is having the right timing. And having the right timing is something that you cannot forget when you actually build a brand. And building a brand is not only about coming up with an idea, which is fundamental, coming up with an idea and a visual expression, which is also fundamental, but how to make it work afterwards. The way you do it is obviously by starting to set the basis. And the basis inevitably must start with perceptions. And when you talk about Turkey, outside of Turkey, because one of the reasons you build a brand is to help you change how you perceived outside of Turkey, although the national audience is a fundamental audience. But probably the reason why foreigners are the ones that end up building brands for nations is because we have no bias. So it is very difficult to commission, and it tends to be not very successful when you commission a brand to a local consultant. It tends not to work very well internationally because local consultants inevitably have the vices, the bias from what they say and from people will think of them creating it. So it's always better to hire someone from outside your country because he has no prejudices, he has no biases, and he doesn't have to justify in front of anyone of a dinner. Perceptions of Turkey had to do with this when you go outside of Turkey. Had to do with this, that of course you've all forgotten about this movie, but you go out and talk about Turkey, people still remember Midnight Express. And all of us know that Turkey and Istanbul and Ankara and everywhere you go has nothing to do with the horrors that this poor guy lived in a cell. Turkey is about people queuing in Germany to get a job. It's about this, which is lovely, and we all love it. And every time we come here, we have it. But it doesn't say much about the successes that you have. Turkey is about manufacturing for important brands. You come to Turkey, like I have the privilege to have been coming here since 2003 when we started working for Turkcell, and you realize that Turkey is not only about döner, and is not about the Ottoman Empire, it is not about prisons, and it's not about manufacturing, but Turkey is full of very successful brands. Turkey is full about very successful brands because these brands, you Turkish businesses, have grown, have evolved over 10,000 years in a region, in a geography that is the result of incredibly fascinating things. And we had to change the perceptions, because you deserve the perceptions to be changed, because your country, your nation, is not what people think it is. You are at the crossroads. You are where the beginning of civilization started. Mesopotamia is partly part of Turkey. You are geographically placed at the crossroads, and inevitably, this flow of people and merchants influenced you as people. That's why you've been so successful adapting yourself to everything. You are really masters in adaptability. And when we said that you are masters of change, change is the result of being adaptable. The Ottoman Empire took this idea very far away, and the essence of the success and the beauty of the Ottoman Empire was encapsulated by this very respectable and magnificent person. You have, of course, everything that we have the other side of the Mediterranean, but you also do things that people don't think a country like you would do. It was really surprising. I know it's a bit of a nuisance to see all these little Syrians around you begging for money, but it's really, on the other hand, you can really think it's really fantastic to see a country like yours hosting people that have to leave their country for reasons obviously I don't need or is the right venue to discuss. Turkey, Pamuk, the movies, the cinema, art in Turkey today is around. I am standing in Turkey's most prestigious university, which ranks amongst the top 150 in the world. Turkey is not only about this, which is also, of course, a gem. This idea of masters of change took us to the combination of the potential that you find when you come to Turkey, and I have seen it myself over these 8 years of working and coming here very much periodically, together with the idea of discovery. The idea of discovery, by saying discover the potential, we're telling the world outside to come here and discover. Discover that this is a very hospitable country. Discover that this is the place that really has the potential you have to see. Yes, you have 70 million people, which is not nothing. Yes, 50% of your 70 million people are under 29 years of age, which is potentially a fantastic horizon. Yes, there's many things in Turkey that we've seen over the last 10 years that show that this is a country with enormous potential. We wanted to encapsulate this, and I won't go into the details because my friend, the President Mehmet Bey, we're going to talk about this in more detail. But what I want to say is that this is only the beginning. Last 29th of September, when President Erdogan announced and presented the new visual identity and claim for Turkey, was not the end of the road. It was the beginning of the road. Having a logo doesn't mean that you have a brand. A brand is, when I was asked by a journalist to define a brand with 3 words, I told him that a brand is the promise of an experience. And you can be even more picky by saying it's actually the promise of an experience delivered. Having a logo doesn't mean anything else than having a beautiful face and a beautiful name. What you want is to have a conversation with that person. It's beautiful, it's nice, it's gorgeous to have a conversation with a person which is good looking and has good attire, dresses well, and has a lovely name. But what's really interesting about this person is not whether he or she is good looking or whether he or she dresses with an Armani suit. What's interesting about that person is that the conversation is interesting. The point and the matter here is that the conversation with Turkey has to be interesting. And the way you build the conversation is by acting. Yes, we say Turkey discovered the potential. But yes, we have to get going. Yes, the road has to start. And as a suggestion today, I just need you all to see and understand that we've got to start having some sort of actions. Some symbolic, some fundamental, that will show and prove that Turkey is a country where you discover the potential, that you invite the people to come here to discover it. Symbolic actions are actions, at the end of the day, you build a brand through the management of perceptions. And the media plays a very important role in shaping the perceptions of a country. When we read news about Turkey, and I call Turkey, people say consistently, oh, don't believe what the press say. The press says this, the press says that, and we know that the press not always says the truth. The press says what they want to say. But us, outside of Turkey, believe what we read in the press. It's fantastic that people say, oh yes, I saw it on TV. So if you see something on TV, it's true. Why? Because it's on TV, it's got to be true? Something can be on TV and not true. But we take so much, we give so much credit to the media that we have to accept that the media is the medium to change perceptions. Yes, before it was only print, then it was print and audiovisual. Now we got print and audiovisual and of course all the digital media that go with the internet. So the symbolic actions need to be media friendly. They've got to be true, genuine. They have to stand by what Turkey means and what discover the potential is. It's got to prove a clear point about you, have to be on brand, and fundamentally need to move current perceptions. People outside of this country perceive this country as I perceive it. And it's not good enough to say they're wrong. It's not good enough to say, oh, what they say about us is just misled information. Yeah, but they keep saying it. And unless we start, we're not going to change the perceptions overnight. So the good thing to do is start with little, quick wins, with some, as I say, call symbolic actions. It could be about innovation, and next week there's a fantastic opportunity to continue building the association that Turkey might have with innovation, with structures, with reforms, with this or that investment, with institutions. Many countries, and there's a very good array of data about symbolic actions that have been taken by other countries to start changing the perceptions of the country. If you go back to our visual expression, you will see that there's a number of icons that helped us build the logotype Turkey. Turkey is a combination of many things that are really present in this country. You have growth, synergies, the world, meeting, innovation, togetherness, harmony, etc. Through every one of these icons, one could build a set of symbolic actions. So a set of activities to start changing the perceptions, or to start shaping, not changing, shaping the perceptions that the world has to where you want to take it. Turkey is a fantastic example to tell us in the West that you're not right by assuming that the world has to move according to what the West says. Us in the West think that there is a set of rules to run negotiations, to run a country, to run a war, to do this or to do that. As you travel with an open mind, you realize that what we believe is true in the West is not true here. That here, when you sit with a client and you negotiate a fee with a client, or you negotiate a price with a client, you have to do it in a different way than you do it in Norway, or that you do it in Bolivia, or that you do it in India. You are especially positioned to tell us, to teach us, that the world is indeed post-colonial. You are between the East and the West. You're not the bridge. You are, because in a bridge, you just use the bridge to go from one place to the other. I never liked the word bridge. What I like is something which is much bigger than bridge. You are where the East melts with the West. And you are uniquely positioned to teach us in the West that not everything is the way we think, and to teach them in the East that not everything is the way they think. Haida Pasha Station is a fantastic example, a heritage. Yes, it has nasty origins, but yes, it's interesting that originally it was built as a station that was supposed to join Berlin in the West to Baghdad and eventually India in the East. It's a fantastic place to celebrate this. Turkey aid, social adaptation, is things that you do that nobody knows or believe in the West. And then other things that I could go on in detail, but I don't want to steal time from my colleagues that will be talking here today, but it's something like a Turkey card, something to invite a consumer finance exercise that you can very well do, because Turkey actually has the most developed consumer finance system in the developed world or developing world. And we know, and you know, the successes of Guarantee, or the successes of our client Paraf, or the successes of many other credit cards in the country. And you could do something for us visitors that could really be interesting in promoting Turkey as a brand. Hagia Sophia, I don't want to touch on too much on sensitivities, but Hagia Sophia is also a fantastic, potentially a fantastic example of how this country is about tolerance. Hagia Sophia was a church, became a mosque, then a museum. Let's see what it could become. Something could be really, really interesting. Just symbols, just little things that could really tell the world that this is the place where you can discover the potential. Thank you very much.